Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my quiet corner. I'm Carol, and happy Valentine's Day. I thought I would come on a little bit earlier today and go through some of the things that we've done and also to do some flowers for our butterflies, which I still have to complete this one. I haven't gotten that far yet. I've been trying to rearrange my room and stuff, so I haven't really stitched much. So, anyway, that is what we're going to do today. But first, I have a little treat for you. I was going through some of my stuff and I've come across a box because I had everything in totes, and I've come across a box and I was surprised and because I had forgotten about it. And it was a box of stuff that I had from my mom. Uh, Different things that she's done. So first I want to show you some of the stuff that she's done. Good morning, Sandra R. Good morning, Anne. And I was so happy that I come across this because it's been in storage like for quite a long time. I gotta turn my other light on so I don't have all the glare. Come on, light. Why are you not working? Trying to get things situated here. All right. Let's see now if I can get this thing to turn on. No, it's not going to turn on. Well, what the heck? All right. We'll forget that light. Anyway, back to what I wanted to show you. First, my mom she was like all of us actually. She did a lot of stitching, painting, crocheting, you name it, she did it. The same as what we're doing, but on different stuff. She played with plastic canvas and she did little things for baby showers, which is what some of this stuff was. So I just thought I'd show you some of these things. And this is out of felt. And she did this, and this is like that's raised paint or stickles paint or whatever you want to call it. Uh, she just very simple with a napkin on the back. So this is some of the things that she did. This was for my daughter's baby shower, and this is actually from my grandmother. My grandmother was a crocheter, and these were from her. And there's a tiny bit of stuffing inside here, and they're yellowed because they're very, 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 very old. And they hang, and she's stiffened these. And look at this. They're still stiff after all these years. Can you believe that? So that's a little bit of something. But wait until you see what else I found. So she also liked to, like I said, she also liked to crochet, and she did these, and she put beads along the edge of it. This is cotton, so she made two trees and a gingerbread man. So I thought it was kind of fitting to show, it's winter time, it's got a heart. And on the back side, you just did up to the legs. And so you can put your hand in and use it as a mitt. So isn't that the cutest thing? So this was in the bag from my mom. So let me just show you. This was in January 16th, 2015. So that's how long ago that she sent. So that is just the sweetest little thing with little French knots at the top for the little icing part. So she did that, and the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Like I said, this stuff has been in storage for quite a while. So I'm quite excited to share some of this stuff today because it makes my heart happy, and it's Valentine's Day, and we do what we can. And why can I not open this? Why is this not opening? Come on. It just keeps, oh, there's the opening. My mom also loved to stitch. This is some of her silk ribbon embroidery that she did in the shape of a heart. And this is just on a piece of material. And this she did in 1991. It has butterflies in here. We've got bullion knot flowers. We've got a beautiful cardinal and just amazing stitching, so tiny and delicate. So this is where I get it from. She really enjoyed doing her stitching. And she actually did some stitching on a quilt, but I have no idea where that quilt is at this time. But yeah, she did that. And this is her back work. And she covered it because she wanted it to stand out a little bit there. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. I thought, this is what we're striving for. We can see my work compared to my mom's work. We did pretty good. Good morning, Pam. So this is something that my mom did. Let me just go, and this is still in the progress because this is just how she left it. This is just how she left it. She's got all kinds of little flowers in there, French knots, bullion knots, and to make the flowers, you just keep going around and around and around. Well, we're going to do some of those today. Uh, Double flowers. I was really happy to find this when I was going through my totes yesterday. I overdid it yesterday, but in here she's planning for another one. I don't know what that was going to be, but and then she did this one. She did this tree, and you can see the sparkles because she used a metallic. And then she put little dolls, a little wagon, a little gift box, a ball, and this must be a whistle because it's got music notes next to it. But yeah, I wanted to share this little bits to show that my stitching goes way, way, way back. And I know I'm early for some, and I didn't give a notification because I wasn't really sure what time I was going to go on. But I wanted to share some of that this morning before we got into our own stitching. So just to show that the work is so intricate. My favorite is this piece though. I wish she would have signed, but I do know because I have it in the bag and I know that she's had this for quite a while and didn't know what to do with it because it's still in this form. So yeah, that's a part of my history. That's my stitching comes from my mom, and done it for such a long time. So I'm gonna put that stuff back in the bag, and then we're going to get on with our stitching today, which I've been playing with my watercolors lately. So I'm sitting down and just making paint go onto the paper. That was about it because it doesn't require any thoughts or anything. So now today, and I don't know if you follow the Take a Stitch Tuesday. Oh, my blue is still there from that, so I have to remember to fix that. And I've got my white here off to the side for my butterfly. And I'm going to pull out some greens. And I'll pull out whatever you have and use whatever you have. I'm going to combine two different colors because I want it to look like highlights as well as, shadows. So I'm going to pull out a medium green and a light green. So I think I'm going to pull out this green. And I'm not sure if I want an olivey green or a dark green. I think I will take a dark green. So pull out get my stuff together. I was up, but I wasn't up, so I thought, oh, yeah, come on earlier. And then I can go and take care of the critters later. I hurt my knee again yesterday when I was tinkering, so today is going to be a take it easy day. Oh, 1 second. Gotta grab my tissue box. My mornings are always rough. Always rough. So 1 second, I'll be right back with you. Alrighty. Now I can breathe again. Now let's see. Today we're gonna do the fly stitch. So I'm going to pull off about yay much of the dark, and I'm going to pull off the same amount of the light. I hope everybody's enjoying their day today and going to do something special for themselves. Don't wait on somebody else to make your day special. Make your day special on your own. Have some fun. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to try and get my stitching caught up a little bit. I have some things that I want to do with my watercolors, so I will be playing with my watercolors. I've got the needle of my choice. Hi, Candy. And I'm going to thread my needle, but I've got to bring it over to me, and I'm sorry you can't watch me thread my needle, but I need to see it. Oh, those old eyes, they say you got to get closer. You have to be closer. All right, so I've got my needle, and I've got one of each. You can actually see it there a little bit. Do I need to zoom in a little for everybody? So if you follow Take a Stitch Tuesday, Sharon Vaughan, she on Tuesday she did the fly stitch. We haven't done the fly stitch yet, so we're going to do the fly stitch and then we're going to create some flowers. I was going to zoom in is what I'm going to do, just a little bit, so you can see what I'm doing. All right. So I want to create my fly stitch. And I'm going to come up in the one position. It's like stitching a Y, actually. The fly stitch is like stitching a Y. So you're going to come up, hold it down with your thumb, go across where you came up from. Go to the right or to the left. It really doesn't matter which side you go to, but I'm going to create mine down just a little bit further and come out. So one side is going to be lower than the other. Now, there's my Y. Now you can either go down right next to that V to stitch it down, or you can go down a ways. I am going to create another fly stitch though. Like you could go right down and create your stem, but I'm going to make it look like it has a variety of steps. So I'm going to go to the other side now. I'm going to go across from where I came out of on the other stitch and come up and have the thread underneath my needle and create another Y stitch, a fly or a Y. So this is giving it the look of different branches coming out. And now I'm going to go down here, but I'm going to make this one go a little longer. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit further so I can make the bottom one into the stem. Always remember your thread goes underneath your needle when you're going to pull it up. Now I'm just going to go down underneath my lace here. That's right there, and I'm going to pull it down. Oh, it's got caught on the lace. That does that, and that creates my stem. So there's your fly stitch, and that's what Sharon Boggin is on her Take a Stitch Tuesday. That's her next stitch. So we're caught up with all of her stitches that she's done so far throughout. And now if you want to make leaves, you can go back up and you could do little chains. If you remember how to do a chain, you come up, you wrap your needle around, you come back up, make sure your thread is underneath your needle, and pull. And I'm going to go just a tiny bit up so it gives it a little bit of a point on my leaf, just to give it a different look. 1 second. All right, so that's one. Now we're going to go over here, and off of this one, I'm going to create another little leaf. I'm just going to work my way back up my fly stitch. So this is a great way to create little bushes, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a little bush. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see I posted something from one of the other scrolls a long time ago that gave the three-dimensional look of different flowers and leaves and how to incorporate. Now, even if you wanted to, you can make a trellis and you can use that by using laces or uh, different fabrics that are open weave. You could just stitch that down and then create your vine going up over. So different options. And remember, if you're not using a hoop, don't pull so hard that you're going to pucker your fabric. Now I'm going to go on to my lace this time, which is going to give it the effect that that bush is in front of that lace. And again, I'm going to make that stitch go a little bit further, which I didn't do on the other one. But it's giving a very nice effect. Now, once you put those flowers on, it's going to make it even look a lot better. So I want to put just a couple of little flowers here. And sometimes, having it in a holder is nice, but you can't manipulate your fabric as much to turn around as easy if you have it in a holder. So if you want to relax, this is something you can do in your chair. Just remember not to pull your fabric too tight or snug when you're stitching. Pull that out just a little bit, and I'm going to give just one tiny little leaf on the other side. So what I'm doing is I'm just running my needle across the back. I'm not worried about what the back is going to look like because it's a story. It's a story in its own. And again, I'm going to just clip the edge of that lace that's there, and I'm going to just tack it like that with that last leaf. So there is one. Now we can continue on and make another one and another one and another one to make the flowers go into February. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just knot the back. And I'm sorry I'm sniffy this morning. And those who know me know that I'm not contagious. Those scissors are not for this. Why did I even pick those up? Those are paper scissors. Paper scissors do not cut thread, especially after they've been used for years. So that looks really, really nice. I like the look of that, and I think having 3, 4, 5 more would look just really nice and fill in that other area. So I'm going to leave that green on there because I'll use it later. And I didn't even do my butterfly yet, but oh, and talking about people who are stitching along with me, if you haven't been into Anne's group lately, you should see what Kathy Whitney has been doing. She's been stitching along. She's making a scroll and and a lot of other things. And she's done a butterfly, she's done mushrooms. She's like really catching up. So now I want to put some flowers on here, but I want to do bullion knot flowers. So I'm thinking what color? How about a yellow? Because we've got this cream, we've got purples and blues and greens, we've got a touch of yellows in the leaf. We've got a little bit of gold. So to make the eye travel around, I think I'm going to do yellow flowers on this one because we can always do different flowers over here to bring more colors into the next strip. So let's pull out the yellows. Those are more green. Now, the other thing is, if you want your flowers to pop or stand out a little bit more, you can use a heavier thread. Whether you're using pearl cotton, which I think I might go with, either this or the gold yellow. I think this would look nice. But you could take 6 strands of your pearl cotton or your regular embroidery floss and do the same thing. So you do know when you pick out a heavier thread or you're using more strands, you do need to have a needle that has a bigger eye. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to give myself some extra thread because we're going to be using quite a bit with doing the bullion knots. Like I said, these will stand out quite a bit. And I'm just nodding. I hope everybody's doing well today. Now, to start, I'm going to start at the bottom because it will be easier. I'm going to start, oh, for the size of the flower I want, I'm going to try and find the center. So when I find the center, then I'm going to work my way out to the tip of that leaf, even though it's not have a stem coming up. That's okay because it'll look like there's a stem there, but it's an open area, and I think it would look better if I put a flower here. But I'm going to start there. And now I want to make my bullion knot again. Well, we've all done this multiple times. And good morning, everybody, and who's hiding in the balcony. I hope you're having a great day. So to start, I come up in the center. I'm going to the stem area, and I'm going to bring my needle back up where I came out. I'm just going to push my needle up like this, put my finger behind it, because that's going to keep my thread from sliding off my needle. And I'm just going to wrap. I'm not wrapping tightly, it's loose, so I can pull my needle through as I'm pinching right here to keep those bullion knots close together. And then I'm going to just gently make it go back down to start. And I want to curl it around. So I know I came up there and usually you go down there, but I'm going to curl this one around. So I'm going to come down next to where I came out, which is going to pull that tail end around a bit, just like so, which is fine because we're going to keep going around on this flower. So I'm going to come up next to the center of that one right here. And I'm going to pull it snug. And now we're going to do that again. We're going to, where we came out, we're going to go over here, like just a little bit below the end that we pulled out, and come up next to where we came out of. Don't push it all the way through because we need to put our finger there so we can hold it and keep our wraps down. And the wraps, they're basically, you want to get bigger as you go around. So this one will have a few more because even if you do more than what the size is, that's okay because it's going to puff up and give it that 3D look. I'll lay it down so you can see what I'm doing. And now I'm going to wrap this one around and pull it over this side and go down. This flower is a bit more complicated, but I'm sure you get the idea of what I'm doing. I'm going around each side of that center that I created. And I'm taking my time so you can see. And make sure you give it enough wraps, otherwise your flower won't be full. I'm not counting my wraps. I'm just going with the flow, so to speak, because I want it to, I don't care if it's a little bit more than, because I want it to stand up. And now what I want to happen next is I want the next one where these two meet. I want the next one to cross around that so it covers over that spot. So I'm going to come up here, almost in the middle of this one that I've done. And to create that loop to come this way, I will take my thread and my needle and I will come to this one about halfway or so and come back up where I went halfway into this one and hold my needle and wrap a lot, wrap a lot. And you can tell by how many wraps that you've done approximately how long that bullion is going to be. And again, so you can see. I think that's zoomed in as far as I can zoom. Yeah, that's as far as it can go. But you can see that that comes right around to that spot. And if it doesn't look right, just give your little wraps a little twist and then go down where you want that end to land. And you can see how that's standing up. So now I want the next one to go around here. And that one's going to be a longer one. So you have to make sure you have a needle that can hold the amount of wraps that you need. So I want it to go here. So I'm going to come up over here around this side. So my wraps will cover all of this open area. One second. It's one of those mornings. All right. So now I want it to wrap around. So I'm going to start over here and come up where I came out on the other side. Now this one's going to be a longer one, so we're going to have a lot more wraps. So has anybody else been stitching or doing anything fun? Trying to get my thread untangled here because it wrapped around from, it just tangles from being wrapped so many times. And I need the extra length. So make sure you have enough thread that you can still not pull it out of your needle, but have enough to wrap as many wraps as you need. And I need this one to be extra long. So now if you're not using a milliner's needle, which is a straight needle all the way through the same length, don't make your wraps too tight so your thread can slide over the end. So now this will go around there, and I will make my thread go back down. Oops, there's my blue. And it's looking very nice, like a rose. Get my blue thread out the other side. It's not supposed to be there. And now I'm going to just I want to have, this is like the end of how big I want my rose. So I'm going to take and do 3 long ones around the outside just to close it all in. So I'm coming up just at that little portion right there, and then I'm going to do a third of the way around, and then I will finish off with the last. So I'm going to come over here to just this little portion here, go down, and come up on the other side where I came out and do some more reps. So I've been trying to rearrange my room and getting things together and trying to make things in a fashion where I don't have to reach for a lot of stuff so it's within an arm's length, so to speak. It's been a process getting rid of things that I no longer need or want, which is a chore in itself. And now the last one, I'm coming up just about at the end. You can see just about. Hi, Gail. Oh, that's all right, Gail. I am early today. I was up and I thought, yeah, I will just come on. I've had my coffee. Loka has been out to go to the bathroom. And I thought, oh, am I going to sit in bed or am I going to get up? So I thought I would get up. And I knew nobody else was on, so I figured, why not? Why not? Usually it's 8:30. So now you can either go down and knot off this one, which I think I will, just in case something wants to decide to let go. I've decided that sometimes threads get caught or whatever, and I'd rather just have one flower come apart than all of the flowers come apart. So I'm going to knot that one on the back. They do take time to make, but the finished product when you do these bullion roses or flowers, whatever you want to call them, they really, really do look nice. And I'll show you uh, because I have my other scroll right here. I'm just going to move that up just a little bit so you can see my bullion flower. But you can take and create all of these different types of flowers. And we will be. And hopefully you'll fill in your scroll with lots of little details. And we're going to do some details. But I want to show you what else you can. This is what I showed on my Facebook. These are my little 3D ones. These are with the wing. It's a buttonhole loop style where you just do a loop of thread and then you buttonhole stitch on that thread and that creates your flower. But you can create wisteria with French knots. We've done that. You can, with satin stitch, you can make bleeding hearts. But you could take these little stitches and just create so many nice little designs. It's got here. So this has the fly stitch in it. Where else is the fly stitch? This is a fly stitch with a French knot on the end. Well, we could do that too. Pistol stitch we did last time, we could use for grasses. Little froggy says hello. But the different things that you could do is so much fun. And I've got to sneeze. Hold on. All right. I caught it this time. So, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed seeing those little bits. Is there anything else that you'd like to see? We could do, you know what? We'll do one of the other flowers. And I'm going to use, I think I have it up here. I have to watch how I take my bins out because I don't want to knock over my books to all fall. We'll do one of the other flowers. Now, having the other flowers, I think I'm going to add a variegated. We'll do one more flower and then maybe some more grasses because we're almost already at an hour. I think we'll use this one. And I'm going to take and I'm thinking maybe a bit of lace. We get some lace. Get some lace and we'll put some flowers on the lace. I have a piece right here. A heart. Today is Valentine's Day. Yes, we could. I love how this frays. And I want it to fray on this side too. I want it to fray. Nothing ever frays when you want it to fray. It always just seems to want to stay there. So I'm going to come over here and have that there. Pull this out, and I'm going to leave it the 6 strands because we need a lot of thread. We could do 3. It'd be daintier, but I want it to stand out just a little bit more. Now I could take, and you know what, I will, just a little bit because I want to tack down this just along the edge because I want it to stay in position. And I'm using green because I'm going to end up having uh, stems and stuff behind, which you can add after. I just don't want it to go somewhere. So I'm just holding it down with a little bits of green straight stitch, which is fun to do. It's just random stitching. Now I'm going to knot that on the back, which frees up that needle for me. Not that I don't have enough needles, but sometimes you just want to keep using the same one. Some people like to uh, pre-thread all their needles, but I like to stitch by the seat of my pants because I never know what I'm going to do. So just like now, I didn't know what I was going to do, and I figured, why not? I'll just no, you know what? I just lost my thread. What the heck? Oh, what did I do with the piece that I just cut? Is it caught on my sweater? It was caught on my sweater. So the thing about wearing sweaters when you're stitching, everything sticks to it. Everything. So my big eye needle, because it is nice and it's pretty straight. Pull that through. Now you can start with yellow French knots in the middle if you want, but I am going to start here, right? Random, very random. Sorry about that. I have to blow my nose and come up. So we're going to be doing two different types of flowers today, where we've done the bullion knot flower, and now we're going to do a buttonhole style flower. There's a name for it. I just am not pulling out my books. I'm just going to show you. Now I'm doing this French knot, and I'm doing the knot to actually tack down that piece of lace, and that will hold that corner. So now I want to do a loop that goes partway around that French knot. So I'm going to bring it up, and then I'm going to come around, and I'm going to go down on the other side of that French knot and come back up where I did, just like the bullion knot, except we're not going to make the bullion. We are just going to pull that thread through, but not too tight because you want to be able to get your needle in underneath it. So now you know how to do the buttonhole stitch. So we're going to go through the loop that we just created, up over our thread. Make sure it goes over your thread and pull. You're going to fill that loop. So you're going to do some more. You're going to just keep going until you fill that loop. And your little, if you're using stuff like I did, the fraying part can get in your way. But anyway, it is what it is. I wanted to have the frayed, so it's going to interfere when I'm stitching. So that was just a small loop that I did there. So now I'm going to go down because that's going to protect that one from coming loose. And I'm going to just make my needle go right across to the other side, which is going to pull that down and secure that first little loop of of buttonhole stitch. Now I want to do that again, but on this side. So now I'll go to the opposite side and come up next to where my thread is. Don't pull it too tight because you need to have room for your stitches. And now you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go through the loop, over your thread, and pull it. And it's going to get caught every time. And make this one go to the side. Make sure your thread comes back down around. Go through the loop. Pull it a little bit snug. Now that is a little bit too loose, but that's all right. We can make it go into where it needs to go. And you just fill your little loops of thread there until it's full. And this, you keep going around just like we did on the bullion knot to create your little flower. And now I will pull that one down and go through the bottom. Then that tacks that petal into place. And try not to get a knot. It does it all the time. I don't know when it doesn't create a knot for me. Real life, real life. There we go. It happens. It happens. So that pulled that one down. So now we have a petal on this side to stick up and a petal on this side. And with using the variegated threads, it gives it shading as you go around. So now I want to close in the sides when you're doing your stitching. So now I'm going to come up behind this petal on this side. If I can get my needle to go where I want it to go. And I want it to go around this way. So now I'm going to take my thread and go down underneath this side of this petal and come back up where I came out on this side and pull it through and leave it that you have room to put your stitches in and continue on doing your buttonhole stitch or lace stitch, whatever you want to call it, because it's kind of lacy. So we're making some flowers where you can make some really cool little bushes. And I'm just going through the loop that I created with my thread. And if you want, and if you're afraid of catching your material or your lace underneath, use the back side of your needle and push it through. You could do it that way as well when you're doing this stitch. You can see the colors changing. And I think I can fit one more in there. And then we will go down underneath that other petal, so they're actually looping around each other. And it's all standing up nicely. So now we want to do the other side. So I'm going to come up on this side the furthest away where we just went down so we don't come back up our hole. And we're going to create another loop by going in the opposite side and coming back up where we came out of. And we want to snug it down just a little bit, but not too much, because we want to be able to get in and do our buttonhole stitch onto that loop. Get it all tangled. So now we're going to do the same as we did on the other ones, and I will go in with the back of my needle because of the area I'm in with the frayed stuff. Keeping your needle away from you and going over your threads as you go. I don't want my little frayed end to get stuck in the loop. And don't pull your buttonhole stitch or lace stitch too tight, because you want it to be able to stand up and be a lacy look. I hope you're all seeing this okay. It's turning out to be more of a tutorial morning than a just stitching morning. Good morning, Sandy. So now you've got your flowers for your Valentine's Day. You create them yourself. I want this one to go another, just one more. I probably could have made that loop a little bit longer, but that's all right because we can make another one go around the sides. So now I'll go down so it tacks it down there and pulls it around. And then you adjust your petals as you go so they stand up. So now we need two more. I'm pretty sure we need two more to go around the other sides. So now I will come up over here on this side part way because they're getting longer, and go down on the other side and come back up where we just came out. So I want it to go just a third of the way into the other side of the petal. Trying not to hit the knots underneath. So we'll pull that one in. And now we will do the same thing to that loop. I hope everybody's enjoying the little flowers today. So you can add these to your fabric of choice or design. You could also make a heart, like Anne was saying about making a heart because it's Valentine's Day. You can make a heart, just an outline of a heart, and fill it with all of these flowers. Wouldn't that look pretty? I wouldn't do that online because it would just take way too long for me to sit here and stitch that. But giving you the idea of how to create the flower and how you can go about and uh, create your own little design for your scroll, your book, your whatever you're creating. I need to do quite a few more because it goes under the other petal. Just a few more here. I want it to be a little bit bulkier on the outside. And I think that's about all I'm going to be able to get in, and I just split my thread there with my needle. There we go. And now I'm going to go down. We've been on an hour already, and all we've done is 2 flowers and a little bit of fly stitch. So fix that. And one more petal. I'm sure we need one more petal. You could also use this almost to make a daisy stitch. A daisy, not a daisy, a pansy. I'm thinking of a pansy, using the different colors as you're going around. So now let's go back here on this side because it's going to be a long one. Or I could do thirds. I think I'll do thirds and then create one more. So now we got to try and keep my frayed edges down. So I made my little loop. And now I'm going to go through that little loop. I'm just trying to get it so you can see here. I'm going to pull that just a little bit snugger. And you're just going underneath that loop. Excuse me, you're not going through any lacer material. Good morning, Brenda. Brenda, I still have not received your email. I'm sorry to, I don't know what to say. I don't know if you've gotten my email correct or not, but I haven't gotten your address. My daughter-in-law is going to be taking stuff, so I was hoping to get everything done and mailed. This one's a little bit looser. Trying to keep my lace out of the way. And this is why a lot of people don't really do a whole lot of stitching online, is because it does take time. It really does take time. All right, I'm going to say it needs a couple more. I need to lengthen my thread. Go back under one more or two more. One more should do it. And go back down underneath the other petal. So it pulls it in under. And that's looking really nice. It's got lots of nice little fluffs going around. And I think I'm going to call that done, actually. I'm going to pull that little white piece out of there. There. And I'm going to knot it. The choice is yours to continue on stitching or to create your own little flower collection there in one thread. But I like to end off my flower petals, my flowers, so they all don't come undone. So there is our flower. Okay, thank you, Brenda. Because there are a couple of different people with the same name, so um, do check to make sure that it was me you sent it to. And now I'm going to do a little bit of fly stitch down here again, because that is our stitch that we were doing. So you've learned two different types of flowers. And you've learned the fly stitch. And I will add a few more flowers to this because I'll make it do a bunch around like a little rose bush, but I want to put some greens underneath to give it depth. So I'm going to create some more. I think I'm going to use this needle. I think I'm going to create the fly stitch, and then afterwards, I think it would look nice to add a little bit of um, silk ribbon to the top part to give it a little bit more dimension. And I think we'll do that another time if I can get my darn needle going here. All right, let me just put my email in for you. Excuse me. And that's a 09. That's a 09. All right, now let's do some more fly stitching. And I'm going to start up at the flower because I want it to come down from there. And this also will hold the lace down as well in the background. And I'm going, like I said, side to side so I can create a effect of branches coming out. And then I want it to go all the way down. To create the stem. And I'm going to do that again and go up here and start and use up this thread. Try and keep my lace down a little bit. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You're not out to make it look perfect because nature grows in its very own way. So no matter how you do it, it's just fine. I'm going to do this one over this side this time. And over here, I'm going to make it go up a little higher and have it come down just to give it a different little depth. And I think I'm going to end that one there. And I'm going to make some little short ones here. So this is the fly stitch. I'm going to go right into that and have to bring it all out around those frizzes, which is fine, and go down. And I'm going to do a couple of those in between. And on those little ones, you could even just put French knots. Hey, Marty. How are you today? So we're catching up where we almost began with the French knots. Make that one go up a little higher. Bring it down. Oh, pulled it off. Of course I did. We're live. Of course I pulled it off the needle. Oh, that's all right, Marty. We all get doing stuff. All right. So there's what I did with the fly stitching. Doesn't that look like a nice little bush? So now after you go and you put wherever you want your flowers, then you can go back in and add leaves and 3D leaves, anything to create on your scroll, or you can do a little patch and add it to a card. You can even do these on paper, like I've showed a couple of years ago. I did stitching on an envelope. Like that was a long time ago. And look at that. I got it stuck. How about that? There we go. Now, isn't that nice? Look at the different flowers we've done. There's such a totally different look between the two. And this is the same technique that we did for the little phalanges here on the mushroom and the butterfly, but we turned it into a flower. I always, yeah, when the thread gets a little short, it always does that. So, yeah, inspiration, right? Inspiration. And again, what did I do with it? Oh, right here. It doesn't matter, what kind of flowers you're doing. And I just have to share these again. Oh, there you go. So there's the going around with the silk ribbon. This is something that my mom did. I showed this in the beginning. It does take practice. I did show this in the beginning. This was my mom's work. These are her little bullions that she did. You could just do randomness, and she put little yellow French knots in the middle. This is a just a random swirly with the same stitch we just did. All of these stand up to turn into a flower, and it's just randomness, not even going around. It's just going all over each other to create these little flowers. And then she did little buds with two little bullions. So it's you can do all kinds of things. Here she used French knots to make petals. So, and this is the cardinal that she did. So I just sharing. I shared this in the beginning, but my roots go way back. My roots go way back. So that's just some of the stuff that my mom did that I have, and she sent this stuff to me in 2015. So there we go. We've done the fly stitch. We've made a bullion rose, and we made a buttonhole style lace rose. And we've just done little bits. Doesn't matter if your stuff is fraying, it gives it character. Yes, she does. And actually, I've done some of that texturing stuff myself on some of this. I've done quite a bit of different filling in with stitches. And this is what I did here on this one. This is the same rose that I showed earlier. But yeah, you can really take your work to a whole different level of clustering. And this is that stitch we just did over and over and over. You just fill it in and keep it tight. That's all right, Brenda. Hi, Kim. So you can just fill it in as densely as you want. You can stitch over your own work. This is a little bit of tatting that I did, and that's using embroidery floss. So, and here's your bits and pieces, your little bits and bobs. Take them, stitch them down. There's some thread painting. We're going to incorporate some of that as well. We're going to have a lot of fun. There's a piece of cheesecloth that I put down and just stitched over it. So you have so much that you can create with. This was felted down that I did. This is just random stitching. More cheesecloth. There's our kind of a feather stitch French knot all in one. Not French knot, but Y stitch just going. So the feather stitch and the fly stitch are very similar. Good morning, Becky. That's something my mom did on her embroidery machine. But yeah, you can take even coloring book outlines. Outline your coloring books and then doodle with your stitches inside to do your shading and, create little, there's fly stitches in there in his legs to give texture. Use your beads. Use whatever you have. Hi, Sophia. So here's a piece of felt. Take your felt and just create the design on it. That's an elephant that I've put there. There's a feather. This is denim. Take your denim, when you pull it out, you can just stitch down that little bundle after you've pulled it out to fray it. There's just so many things. There's sashiko. I wanted to try that. There's my yo-yos that I put on, just stuck it down. This is nail binding that I did. I wanted to try that, so I stuck it on there. So whatever you're practicing with, whatever little pieces you have, you want to try and do stuff, just take it and put it on your piece of material. And in the end, you can either make a scroll, you can make your journals, you can make pillow tops, you can make quilts with them, lap quilts. There's so much that you can do. And this, I stenciled. I stenciled the tree on here and then stitched the lights. So you can do so many different things with very minimal stitches and enjoy the process. Just have fun. This was a piece I fussy cut out of material that I had, and I just appliqued it down. That was my birthday. That's how long ago it was. It was a forever ago. But just take random pieces and just start stitching, and whatever comes out, comes out. That's basically what it's all about. And in the end, you could have something very similar. Even if you're doing your EPP and you have extra pieces left over, just put them on there. And then I just did the outline on it. This was a tree we had in our backyard, and it had a swing on it. So, you could take your memories. And if you notice in the background, I used ink tints to paint a lot in the backgrounds to fill in. And there's the heart for Valentine's Day. So what I did was I took my ink tints, I drew a line around, I did my heart, I did my ink tents, I outlined with the buttonhole stitch around each color, and then I took the French knots and I built up around and went out with my French knots to create the background. And each color has just tiny little bits of the French knots there, but I mostly did the cluster. If you put them close together in a cluster, they look so cool. Oh, thanks. Yes, I was playing with thread painting. We're going to end up doing some thread painting, but different types of leaves using the two strands of different colors. That's a big key to a lot of different things. And this one was thread painted with, and this is all little French knots to do those phlox flowers. I can't think of what they're called right off, but there was a trail that we used to go hiking on, and it had all these flowers on each side of the trail. And it was my happy place because I love hiking in the woods. Well, I did anyway. And I thought, well, that was a nice scene. So I thought I'd put it on my scroll because it was a memory that I really liked. And like I said, I've gone through this so many times, and the memories of the outhouses on each side when I was in second grade. It's like fill in, like make your grasses, and then I put French knots in the top to fill in. But we're back again to where we did those flowers on the other one, and just have fun with it. Make your scenes blend. Make them blend one into the other. And you see, I did Take a Stitch Tuesday then as well. There's a little moth. Oops, things are falling over. I moved stuff. But, use your imagination. I don't even know where this came from. I just started stitching, and it ended up to be a sun style flower tree. Dragonflies, bees, little birds. Find something that makes you happy and stitch it down. So that's what we're doing. We're finding the happy and we're stitching it down. And eventually I will go back and I will finish my butterfly, and I will probably put some little bees in and around, and I will continue making my flowers through here, which will be these kind of flowers and the little buds. And then I will come over to this side and I will make a few more of these, and then I will probably make a couple of buds, just two little strips coming up, two little lines, and do the same buttonhole onto that strip and just fill it in. And you don't have to do this color flower. You can make whatever color you want. Use your imagination. Make it yours. Have some fun with your stitching. Don't make it stress you out. I've got husky fluff flying around all over the place. So, with that, I think I'm going to say thank you, everybody. And I've been on for an hour and a half, and I hope you enjoyed the little bit of stitching in my quiet corner. And I hope you come back again. I'll be back on, I may just do an impromptu if nobody's on later, because I'm in the mood to do a bit of watercoloring. I took some wood that we laser cut. Marty, yeah, really. And I glued some watercolor paper down on my piece of wood. So I want to watercolor on this. So I may do an impromptu in between now and next time I decide to come on. And I do that. I come on when the mood strikes, because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't do it. I need to get myself, you know, motivated. The mojo has been disappearing little bits and pieces as I've been trying to clean up and get rid of crap. So, anyway, you all have a great day. And I don't know who else is on this early in the morning, but for me, it's 8:18, and I'm gonna go soon next door to feed the kitty cats. So this weekend is kind of busy. So thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a great day. From my quiet corner to yours, happy stitching. Bye, all.